the big story out of Paris right now is the conditions change. I remember last year just being an absolute, ice rink there. I think the CPI was like 43.3 or something like that, which is the court speed index. And this year, I think it's already look. We've only gotten through qualies. I don't know the exact data, so I'm not going to act like I do. But what we do know is it's slower. They slowed down the courts, and it's definitely an interesting decision for a few reasons. Right, one, it was one of the quickest, if not the quickest, next to Cincinnati and Shanghai, in terms of court speed on tour. And then, secondly, it's like we know what Zverev said, or we know what Federer said. Slowing down courts to help Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz meet in a final. So, any thoughts on them slowing down the courts? Definitely surprised me, but any thoughts there?
Yeah, it's good. I think Carlos said in an interview earlier this week, he was happy that they've slowed down the courts, because it's not. He said that it's not a entire serving fest, and things are slightly more enjoyable to play on. You're not playing these really short points. It's kind of grinding it out, which kind of works better for Carlos in a sense. Obviously, it's going to fuel him. Carlos is still my favorite to win this week, but in terms of the courts, I think it helps. I think it helps everyone that didn't play last week. I think that everyone that is fresh and feeling ready to go is going to love it this year. And I think that everyone that played a long week this week is going to hate it, because you're going to have to play longer matches, longer points. You can't use that serve to bail you out, Sasha Zverev. And it's like, I don't know. But personally, I like it because, I like slower conditions. I like seeing longer points. I like seeing really long matches, battles, real physical, battles. Leave it all out on the court. That's the type of tennis I want to watch, which is, why we love clay tennis. But, as much as I also love grass tennis, but that's a different conversation.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, here we are, final Masters event, and the race to Turin is obviously heating up. And I guess the primary focus at this point would be between two players, or three, rather, because we have Djokovic, who is very, very unlikely to play, given that he did drop out of Paris. I don't know if you think differently, but I don't.
I don't know. It's like flipping a coin. And
Okay.
I think it's a bit less than flipping a coin. I think it's 60-40. He doesn't play for me. But then they made that they made that huge he's qualified video. And
yeah.
they posted it they were so gassed that he was gonna play. But I just don't think he does. Mainly because I just don't think he. The only way I can see him benefiting playing the ATP finals is that if he plays either Alcaraz or Sinner and he beats them. If he beats one of the two of them in Turin, then I think it would have been worthwhile. Even if he doesn't win the entire tournament, even if they're in the round robin, if he beats either Carlos or Jannik and he doesn't win the entire tournament, I think it would have been worth it. If not, he can beat Zverev, he can beat Fritz, he can beat Shelton, he can beat all these guys with his eyes shut pretty much. It's the other two. It's the big two. He's been eyeing these two for the entirety of the year. And whether it's, he goes back to Serbia and he just, chills. Well, Athens, actually. He's playing in Athens, isn't he? So,
yeah. Yes, he is. New residency. Thought it was
But yeah, you were talking about the race. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, there's how interesting can it get? I guess is my question. Given that we're pretty set in stone here on the very, very top half of this race, but I mean, does Casper Ruud have a chance? Does Medvedev have a chance? I think it's a little far-fetched at this point.
Yeah.
But given no Novak Djokovic. That would have Felix as the 8 slot, Musetti as the 7 slot. Let's take a quick look at kind of the draw here. I don't know if you could pull it up on your end. Let's see here. Felix is going to play a qualifier. I don't know if they've been placed yet. It should be happening soon. And then he would draw the winner of Nakashima, Alexander Mueller, and go from there.
Draw.
Setting up a potential clash with Casper Ruud in the round of 16.
I think he wins that anyway.
Yep. Take a look at Musetti. Gets the bye. Play either Sonego or a qualifier.
It's a nice draw.
Yeah, and then he could potentially meet Medvedev in that round of 16. So I actually do have some interesting storylines thanks to the draw. We could be having some really, really interesting matches on Wednesday of next week. Or Thursday, rather. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely something to look out for. I don't think there's too much else to be said. I think I'm just interested to kind of see these conditions. It's a new location. Does that play into it? Did I forget that? Because they are not in the same location as last year. I am pretty sure. So you've heard a little bit of conversation about the new setup in there. There's like only curtains. So I guess the sound is going to be very, very prominent. And think about home crowd. Think about last year. And I guess we'll leave off with this, Fergus, before I hand it over to you for final thoughts. But I remember last year, every wild card did so well in Paris. And a reason why is because, Paris-Bercy, that is, because they sped up the court. So, they would help it helped the wild cards have a good chance. And, now you think about players like Atman and, other Frenchmen who are getting these wild cards. It might not help. So, yeah, new location. So that's definitely interesting. We'll see how this kind of setup works.
Yeah, I think curtains will be interesting. I mean, I don't envy anyone playing on center court. Kind of, if you have someone like, I don't know, if it's like Vasher or Kazor, like round 2.
Kazor, that's the other wild card.
Yeah, like that would be like, it'd be so loud in there, like so loud, and it gets to the point like it was a couple of years ago. Zverev, I can't remember who Zverev was playing. Zverev was playing someone in Miami, and they had to stop play because the intercom on the other court was so loud that it was like basically like if we had so well inside the stadium that they stopped playing until they stopped speaking. I just feel like that could be a little bit of it's almost like a factor here this week. If you could block out the noise, who deals with the noise the best in, the tough moments? And whether we'll see a hindrance this week in like a big point on like, if you hear someone screaming from the next court, whether there's a hindrance. It's just something to think about. But yeah, should be interesting. 11:56 draw. There are some great matchups in here.
Yeah, let's go. We can fire out. We don't have to preview, but yeah, I mean, our producer just mentioned a potential Rinderknecht Vachereau clash in round 2. But they both have tough matches. I won't lie. Rinderknecht playing Marajan, Vachereau taking on Lehechka, and I know we didn't talk about Vachereau this week, but yeah, definitely a respectable performance. Thought he had chances to beat Brits. So yeah, I was definitely impressed.
Just looking at some round 1 draws, obviously. So Popper and Bublik, that should be good. Greek Sport Diallo, that should be quite good.
Yeah.
Petchy Pericard Dimitrov, that is tough comeback for Dimitrov.
Oh,
I don't know how much. Much the course have slowed down. Obviously, those have slowed down, but that's a no rhythm against Petchy Pericard whatsoever. So that's gonna be a tough.
Fokina and Humbert, opener, as they just played yesterday.
Yeah,
with the Humbert retirement. So interesting, and we know how much Humbert loves this tournament.
Yeah,
finalist
finalist,
last
defending
year.
final points from last
Took
year.
down Alcaraz last year. So
That's a tough first round to start defending points.
yeah.
And Kachanov, bearing in mind, has had an awful run of form and has semi-final points to defend here this week. Has Ethan Quinn, but Ethan. Oh, right. No, because Bonzi just pulled out, didn't he?
Right.
Yeah. So Quinn's lucky loser, I assume, has got in. And then play.
The qualifiers were placed. Apologies. I was looking at a different.
Houston. We'll try to keep my Britishness out of this conversation. But yeah, tough draw for Kachanov. I just feel like he's just had it. I just want to look at quickly. I'll touch on his losses in the last month or so, because this was the biggest his biggest part of the season. Obviously, won the title last year in Almaty. Finalist in Vienna, and then semifinals in Paris. And he has so at the US lost to Majak in 5. That's pretty tough. Lost first round in Beijing to Muller. Lost first round in Shanghai to Shang. Lost first round in Almaty to Struff. Lost first round in Vienna to Greek Spor. Yep. It's not great.
Yeah. A few of those, I think Almaty round 2 because of the bye, but regardless,
yes,
losing your first match at the tournament is tough. One more quick thing to mention: Grigor Dimitrov is back this week, taking on GMP, which is no fun. You're not going to get a lot of rhythm, as you mentioned.
Absolutely zero.
Yeah, but hey, definitely interesting to see here. Other than that,
I don't think so.
I'm just interested to see if Shelton. I just think hasn't had a lot of form, rhythm, and I think that's hurt him a lot.
I think the bye almost compromises him. Yeah.
But either way, you're getting a guy that is a very consistent, ball maker in terms of Mahach or Kabali. So
yeah,
it's not necessarily.
If Mahach does come through, you have the small chance that Mahach just blows up like he does sometimes. But we'll see.
We shall see. But yeah, we'll see if we get a Sinkeraz final next Sunday. But yeah, that's it for me. Thanks everyone for joining. Really appreciate it. Fergus, thank you for coming on and having this conversation. A lot of fun, a lot of interesting topics in the tennis world, and really looking forward to this final Masters 1000 event. Really
thanks very much, Brenna. Great as always. And we will, we'll probably be a Sinkeraz final next Sunday, but we'll see. Maybe we'll spring a surprise. Maybe.
We shall see. Thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of your day.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.